Good afternoon there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to American Ethanol 255 Chicagoland tonight, Extreme 99 Sports.com. It's Tim McBrew, and beside me is Ryan Gabble. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing great here, Tim. Looking forward to another great show here on OSR Network. Got our last mile-and-a-half cookie cutter race of the season, if you want to call it that, here in the K&N Series. Just finished up qualifying here. We'll run through the order in a second, but looking forward to another great race.
Oh, man, I'm telling you what, Chicagoland is a good track, Ryan. I'm telling you, we're going to have fun tonight.
Yeah, it's one of my personal favorite mile-and-a-halves to drive, no doubt. Chicagoland is a great track, and it's going to be some great racing. We've got 20-plus cars here tonight, and late afternoon, colder, cooler weather at least, and it's going to give the track a lot of grip, make some exciting pack-style racing maybe here tonight.
Okay, but we got about 3 more minutes. Look at the qualifying there. Run them down there, Bubba.
Yeah, starting on pole, a familiar face, the man who dominated last week, but yet he did not get the victory, Edward Morris in the 7-car on pole. And starting second, Davey Hendricks, then it's Eric Driggins, Cody Fabianic, Dylan Mirando, Andrew Mraz, Nicholas Vroman, Chris Gillum, Brandon Ketchum, and Darren Clement, your top 10. Brandon Ketchum, your points leader, starts 9th, too. He's still holding on to the points lead after last week. And starting 11th is Adam Novak. And then we got Jerry Glenn in 12th. 13th is Tommy Amacy. 14th, Jason Edmonston. 15th, Michael Thwaites. 16th, Scott Brooks. 17th is Steve Seegers, who's a new face here in the series. And we got Josiah Strauss starting in 18th. 19th is Donnie Lee. And 20th is Justin Walters. Got a couple cars that did not make qualifying time, like Don Kidder, William Martin, Jake Clarkson, who I do believe will start this race. But I have to wait to see till post time here, which is in about 2 minutes, 20 seconds when we see cars hitting the grid.
I'm running through them right now and letting them see them there, Ryan.
Sounds good. So this race is a 142-lap event. And Brandon Ketchum has the points lead by 15 points over pole sitter Edward Morris coming into this race. And Tommy Macy is 25 points out of the points lead. He is third in points. Then it's Michael Thwaites and Nicholas Vroman and Justin Walters, who are actually in a 3-way tie for 4th, with Thwaites, Vroman, and Walters all right on top of each other in the point standings. They're 34 points out of the points lead right now.
That's pretty good, ain't it?
That ain't bad. A lot of guys close together here halfway through the season, 8 races into 16-race season.
All right, we're getting ready.
You go ahead, yeah. Yeah, getting ready for a race here. Still another minute and a half. I was going to say, looking up at the upcoming schedule we got next week, Bristol Motor Speedway, the fastest half mile. Bristol at Monday night. 201 laps. That'll be an awesome race, like it always is at Bristol. And then we got Watkins Glen, the road course, the lone road course on the season. Remember, those road courses are caution-free races. 44 laps is not very long, but it really tests endurance and tire saving and fuel strategy because there are no cautions. And then a race that is opposite of that, usually caution-filled, is the Talladega Superspeedway. And then we got the mile and an eighth or mile and a quarter, whatever it is, Gateway Motorsports Park, that odd-shaped oval there in St. Louis. And then we have New Hampshire Motor Speedway for 150 laps on that flat 1-mile oval. And season finale will be held Monday night, November 5th at the Dover International Speedway, the 1-mile high-banked track. And that will be some great racing up ahead. Very unique racetracks to finish off the second half of this season.
Man, I'm going to tell you what, that's going to be a good night, Ryan.
Yeah, those are going to be some awesome races. Very excited to see how these guys do on the varying types of tracks, especially the road course. That'll be fun.
Oh, yeah. All right, we're gridding them up.
Yes, sir, guys. Pace car has put itself down on the front straightaway. Guys starting to grid up here at the start-finish line. We'll do one pace lap and then take green for 142 laps here tonight on OSR Network for the K&N Pro Series on ExtremeMotorsports99.com.
Boy, you can hear them getting ready, can't you?
Yeah, they've got those things fired up here at the start-finish line. About 30 more seconds till we see them rolling. Good-looking field of cars here at the Chicagoland Speedway. We saw quite the wild race here in the Monster Energy Cup Series in real life. That was quite the duel. I don't know if you saw that one, Tim, between Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch there. I hope we can get ourselves a good race like that.
Oh, I didn't see that one, Bubba. Sorry to say that.
It's all good, but man, it'll be a great show to the finish if we get something like that, that's for sure. Well, the car should be rolling here any second. Engines have fired, and here they come. Cars rolling down the front straightaway, led by Edward Morris and Davey Hendricks. And Edward Morris, his lap time was almost a full tenth faster than Davey Hendricks. That shows you how fast that number 7 car is. We saw him dominate last week, led the most laps of the race, yet still lost it to his teammate Nicholas Vroman there at Iowa last week. They put on a great show, but ended up being Vroman who came out at the end to get the victory.
He did, man. He's been fast all season, Bubba.
Yeah, that 3 car and that 7 car, Vroman and Morris, those 2 guys, I think they've been top dogs all season long.
They have, for sure.
No doubt championship favorites. I think you can say that for sure.
That's right.
Up until last week's bad race or what ended up being a bad race for Edward Morris, after leading all those laps, it was only his first race he's finished outside of the top 10 all season. Actually, outside of the top 5 all season. He'd never finished outside of it in all the races that he'd run. But here we come. Pace car has made its way down into the pit lane, and Edward Morris leads the field to the green flag. We are green flag racing here at Chicagoland Speedway. Edward Morris gets a great jump on the field down into turn 1.
Yeah, that 27, we ain't used to that 27 being up there.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen Dylan Mirando up front. We've seen success out of him before, but certainly has been a few races since we've really seen him up front. And Mirando all the way up to 4th here into turn number 3. And we already got a crash in the back, Tim. Very back of the field. 1 car around is Jason Edmonston, and we are under a quick caution here. Crash in turn 3.
I heard that. Hang on a minute.
It was a 71 car, Edmonston. Right off the bat. Up in turn 3. Looks like, wow, he got into the wall on the back straightaway. This is a unique part about this track, is it's got actually a curved back straightaway. And I guess he found that out as he drove into the wall on the back straightaway, stayed stuck to the wall. And when he bounced off the safer barrier, he lost control of the car, came down the track, and clobbered the 88 of Donnie Lee, gave that car a lot of damage also. The 88 of Donnie Lee, right side of that car is all sorts of crunched up, but 71 car had some sort of issue, bounced off the safer barrier, came down into the 88, and 2 cars with heavy damage there early.
Yeah, they ain't got no quick fix now.
Yeah, it's too soon to lose a quick fix, that's for sure. And obviously, you got no takers up toward the front of the field. Some of the guys in the very back with damage have made their way in. Other cars with damage, Scott Brooks, Josiah Strauss. He got some damage. It looks like maybe in a separate incident or something, but under caution, most of the field stays out. Not much shaking up in the front of the field, and we are under caution quickly again.
Let's see who gets out first.
All the damaged cars and guys that were running in the back getting tires and gas, just topping it off. No reason not to when you're already in the back. And Jake Clarkson in the 5, who did not put out a qualifying time, is out on top of Justin Walters, who is in that 3-way tie for 4th in points. He comes out 2nd.
They ain't made a green flag yet, have they?
No, they didn't even get all the way around, yeah.
That's why it's, yeah. Yeah, Edward Morris got out first.
Yeah, he's the current leader. He didn't pit with most of the field. Did not pit. And back of the field came in. We've got a couple other guys coming in the back of the field again here. Just more guys topping off on fuel. Michael Thwaites, Tommy Amacy. Some point contenders among those. Jerry Glenn also. Just guys topping up on fuel.
One's on the back. I want to welcome everybody in the team's top chat tonight. We are going to have a good race tonight. We'll get it started here in just a minute. And I appreciate everybody coming in here. I want to recognize Sim Speed Shop as our lap 4, and we ain't had a green flag yet.
Yeah, we're coming to 1 to green. I think here it's going to be Morris and Driggins on the front row for the restart.
Yeah, I see them. Davey Hendricks is right there in 3rd. Well, Ryan, we
you go ahead there, Tim, yeah.
Yeah, we already got some cars dented up.
Yeah, we got that early accident, tore up a few guys. But a couple guys with damage to the back. Most of them did not take their fast repair. Edmonston looks like he bailed out already. I don't know if he's retired from the race, but he has disconnected from the race at the moment, so he's losing laps at the moment. Bad start for Edmonston. I'm not sure how much further he'll go.
Oh boy, that ain't good.
We're going to go green here on lap 6. We still haven't yet to see a full green flag lap yet due to that quick accident in the back of the field. Hopefully we can clean that up and get some green flag laps in here.
Yeah, we got a good bit to go.
Yeah, there's still 20 cars on track of the 21 that started. Edmonston is out of the race at the moment, losing laps every time the leader goes by, and Morris leading the field of the green with Eric Driggins on his outside. Back to green, a big wheel spin by Davey Hendricks. Looks like he's going to lose another spot to Mirando for 3rd, but it's Morris and Driggins side by side down to 1. Morris into 1 and 2. He's going to clear Driggins, and down the back straightaway they come. It is Edward Morris clear of Eric Driggins down the back straightaway, but not by much. Driggins still within reaching distance into turn number 3.
Look at Dylan Mirando.
Yeah, Mirando up to 3rd here. Got around Hendricks when Hendricks had a bad restart there. He's fallen from 2nd to 4th, and he's moving over to the top here, looking like he's going to lose more and more spots here. rough start for the 55 car, and we get our first lap completed under green here at Chicagoland.
Yep.
But it is Edward Morris leading on Eric Driggins, who is still right there tucked in behind him. The battle is on right now. Behind third, one car on the apron sideways there was Cody Fabianic, and he saved it, but he lost a ton of ground there on the leaders, and he fell down multiple spots. Oh, he's back almost outside the top 10, and he was running up in the top 5 there in turns 3 and 4, but he got a piece of that apron and almost lost the car.
I'm telling you, Eric Driggins just took over the lead now, hasn't he?
He has. I do not know what happened there to Morris. I didn't have an eye on the leaders, but an issue there with Edward Morris. Oh, he's back again. It looks like he's had a big blink out there. He's back on track as the leader. I was going to say, I didn't think I saw anything. Looks like Edward Morris just blinked out there for a moment. He is back right where he was when he disappeared, and he's still got a pretty solid lead over Eric Driggins.
Man, he's always... I wonder how many laps he's led this season.
Edward Morris, he has certainly led a lot. Just last week he led 93 of the 200 laps, yet he did not get to win that one last week at Iowa. But he has certainly led himself a ton of laps. He has been a very strong front-running driver. Him and Nicholas Roman, I think, together as a pair have been very dominant, even though Roman last week in Iowa only led 4 laps, but he led the 4 most important ones. Those were the last 4, and he ended up winning that race.
Yeah, that one last week, I bet that was something else for him to lead that many laps.
Yeah, very strong performance by Morris. Didn't cap it off like you wish he could have. But, man, Roman way to the top trying to get around Andrew Mraz trying to get around Roman there for 5th. We always know Mraz is one of the more aggressive drivers to try to pass cars, not so much on the saving side as other guys. Saving side, like other guys are, at least. Some guys like to save their stuff. I don't really think that 21 car Mraz does, and still gets some strong runs out of that car, though. Still very fast car, that's for sure.
Yeah, he is. Nicholas Bowman is coming up. He's in 5th place there. He's been a hard runner, too, there, Ryan. I mean, he has been a real hard runner.
Yeah, started 7th all the way up to 5th already, and he's working on trying to pass a guy that started 2nd and has fallen back to 4th, and now maybe 5th is Davey Hendricks in that 55 car. Nicholas Vroman looking to work on him for 4th there as they head down into turn number 3.
He sure is, man. I tell you what, he come back from 7th, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and we got a car that must have spun and crashed out of 4 and did not bring out a caution. That is actually Michael Thwaites, one of those guys tied for 4th in points, and that car is torn to bits, number 12. Not sure what happened there, but looks like he had an accident. Tommy Macy also looks like he was involved. His car's got a ton of damage, and he's also fallen way off the group. But the 05 and the 12 car is destroyed on his way down pit road right now.
That ain't good for Michael.
Yeah, something to miss there with those two. No caution was brought out because of the incident. Must have been in the very back of the field. But Edward Morris continuing to lead here. Still a long ways to go in this race, though.
Yes, it is. Eric Driggins right behind him, and then Davey Hendricks.
Yeah, they were all running well. You see they're about to put the 05 of Macy lap down. I just went back real quick to look at the cause of the accident. There was a stack up with the 88 of Donnie Lee in the very back group of cars in the field, and the 05 of Morris checked up, and the 12 car got in the back of them, and they both crashed really hard out of turn 4. 12 cars down in the pits getting repairs done. That car is killed right now. It's sitting in pit lane, all sorts of torn up. That 05 car of Macy still going, but he's got a ton of damage. He's hoping for a caution soon to get him a lucky dog so he can get down on the pits under caution instead of under green, because that car is in a lot of pain right now as it crawls through 3 and 4, way off the pace.
Michael Thwaites is out. I just seen him go back into the pit.
Yeah, he is down at pit road, losing laps on laps on laps, and if we look at the field right now, the top 6 cars have run away with a big gap. Top 6 are within a second of each other, all under a blanket. And then 7th place, Brandon Ketchum, is 2.1 seconds behind the leader, trying to reel that group back in with Cody Fabianic and Darren Clement in tow. And the top 6 cars are nose to tail, just driving along right now. And 4 of those 6 are Apocalyptic Motorsports drivers.
Yeah, Brandon Ketchum, he's in the chase too, ain't he?
Yeah, Brandon Ketchum is no doubt in the chase. He's been one of the most consistent guys all season, as he has finished top 10 in all 8 races this season in that number 41 car, and that consistency has really shown a lot out on the racetrack and out in the point standings. He is a points leader right now, as he has been Mr. Consistency all season. He's only gotten 1 victory, I believe, all season, but 5 top 5s and 8 top 10s have put him atop the standings here halfway through the season.
Yeah, he's not. They don't have no chase. I just remembered that, but he's running for the championship. I think he's what, 3rd?
Brandon Ketchum right now, he's in 7th on the racetrack and top of the leaderboards in the standings.
He's still in top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, he's top of the standings right now in the points. And he's actually just getting past Cody Fabianic is passing him right now for 7th. Ketchum going to fall to 8th, and a battle for 3rd is also on. Dylan Mirando getting passed on the outside by Davey Hendricks makes a power move to the top, and he's going to take away the 3rd spot. Also, Michael Thwaites just got some damage fixed. He did not take his fast repair. That car is still really hurt, but just came out of the pit lane in turn number 3 here. He is 5 laps down. I think it's about to turn into 6 laps down here as the leaders cross the line, but Michael Thwaites multiple laps down in that number 12 car, just trying to finish this one at this point. He has lost so many laps, there really is no hope for coming back from that deficit.
I'm telling you, that's not good for him. I'm going to show them one that's up running for position. Edwards and Eric Driggins.
Actually, Nicholas Roman here, the battle for 5th. Andrew Mraz just got around Nicholas Roman for the 5th position as the top 6 cars start to fan out a little bit more. Now it's top 4 within a second of each other. The top 4 have run away. Mraz got around Roman for 5th. And Dylan Mirando and Davey Hendricks still going at it there for 3rd, as the fast groove, it seems like, has moved up the track a little bit. They're running a little bit of a higher line than they were at the start of this thing. They're running more toward that middle groove than they were on hugging the bottom there toward the start of this run.
Yeah, about middle ways up probably, or maybe a couple of lengths up.
Yeah, it seems to be working well for that 7 of Morris, who hasn't pulled a big gap away on 2nd place. Eric Driggins all race long, but he hasn't made any mistakes to cause the 42 car to get down the inside or outside of him either way. Now Driggins looks like he's about to get swallowed up by the 55 car. Davey Hendricks to the inside for 2nd. Dylan Mirando looking to make it maybe 3 wide, or maybe he'll just try to push his Apocalyptic Motorsports teammate there into turn number 3, or turn number 1 rather. Driggins on the outside, Mirando on the inside. Oh man, Driggins got the wall. Eric Driggins on the wall out of turn number 2. Didn't get it very hard, but got it enough that's going to really hurt him out of turn 2 and into turn 3. He falls back all the way down to position number 6 just like that, and that car has got some pretty good right front damage. And also, we are probably closing in on some green flag pit stops here. They can do about 30 laps on fuel and tires, and we are 24 laps into this race, and we did have a couple caution laps, so maybe expecting them to pit around lap 30. And these tires are starting to die off. Guys that have used them up too bad are starting to find their way into the wall.
Yeah, they ain't got, what, 24 laps on them tires?
Yeah, it is not much, but these guys are really feeling the heat. The guys that used them up maybe more than other people. And 3-car breakaway right now. Hendricks, Mirando, and Morris are all nose to tail within half a second of each other. And they have pulled a 1.5 seconds on 4th place. Nicholas Roman, who's worked his way from 7th to 4th right now. And battle for 5th is on. Driggins trying to make his way back by the 21 of Andrew Mraz as they head down into turn 3.
Hello, Pat. everybody in the chat.
Dylan Mirando just took second place from Davey Hendricks as they come down the front straightaway. And as they battle for second, Edward Morris is just driving further and further away with the lead.
Man, Dylan Mirando, he's there. He's going to be a contender right there, buddy.
Hey, he's got a real fast car. He's had a few unlucky weeks here in a row, but I think he's still got a lot of talent here, and he might make his way back to the front in no time here. He's charging to the front of the field from 5th to 2nd, and he's looking at the lead from his teammate, Edward Morris.
That's going to wonder what kind of battle that's going to be. When you get up there with your teammates this many laps, you don't mess with them that much.
No, it's too early to really try to pass anybody, even if it's your teammate especially. That's really something you don't want to screw up, is an early race pass on a teammate, and you don't want to do something stupid and cause yourself to have a bad rest of the race, get yourself some damage or anything like that. You want to save the heroic moves, especially on a teammate, to late in the race.
Dylan is right in his track.
Man, we got a great battle going on for 5th, 6th, 7th. They are 3 wide coming down into turn 1. 98 car ran out of real estate down on the apron. He was on the apron of the track all the way down into turn 1. Brandon Ketchum looking to join that battle. Getting awfully exciting there between Mraz, Driggins, Fabianic, and Ketchum down in 3 and 4. And then as this is happening, we got a battle for the lead going on. Jumping all over the place here, Tim.
Oh, he is, ain't he?
Dylan Mirando might have just nosed out Morris at the line. No, he didn't. Morris led that lap by 2/100ths of a second at the line, and Morris trying to hold on to continue that statistic of leading every single lap so far this race as guys are pushing up on each other, racing real hard toward the back of the field. Morris holds on Mirando, and as they battle, Davey Hendricks is reeling them in fast for 3rd.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's reeling them in real fast.
Yeah, he got a ton of speed there down the back straightaway as those two guys came off the corner side by side. And, man, things have been getting real sketchy between a lot of cars that are pushing up tight with these older tires. Some people making brave moves as we got guys starting to come in the pits. First of the takers, Andrew Mraz in the 21's actually on his way out of the pits. And Jake Clarkson from the back of the field's also coming in, and that's going to spark the beginning of green flag pit stops here right when I thought they'd come in is lap 30 here. So get ready to start seeing some leaders make pit stops. The top 3-4 cars staying out here. Vroman, Hendricks, Mirando, Morris staying out. Some guys toward the back coming in. The 98 car running 5th. Cody Fabianic coming in hot, and he's going to lock him up, but barely squeezed into the pits. Man, he came in real hot, but Fabianic is in from 5th in the 98 car. And also Scott Brooks in the back of the field makes his way in the pits. Tommy Amacy, I think with all that damage he got from the wreck earlier, his engine just let go down the back straightaway. He's pulled onto the apron. That car is toast as looks like Morris and Mirando back at it again. Mirando on the top side this time trying to make something happen. And Mirando might just get the lead this time. He led it at the line. Now Edward Morris hasn't led every lap this race. First lead change, Dylan Mirando to the lead, and Hendricks working on 2nd. And from 4th place, Nicholas Vroman has come in. Also, Driggins and Clement are in the pits and from the front of the field here on lap 32. Lots of takers down on pit road waiting on those top 3 guys. So here they come, all 3 of them, top 3 cars, nose to tail, diving the way on pit road, coming in as fast as they can without going too fast. Nose to tail, it's Mirando, Morris, and Hendricks in the pits. Jerry Glenn is going to stay out, and he will take the lead at the moment as he is yet to come in.
He can't stay out too long because he got 40%.
No, you certainly can't, but the thing is that number 97 car, Jerry Glenn, if I do remember correctly, he came into that last caution, one of very few guys who did, and he topped off, so he's got a little extra fuel in that tank, so he's going to stay out for maybe a lap or 2 and lead some laps, get some bonus points, and now he's on his way down pit road.
Been a good race so far, so.
It has been a great one. Now the battle on exit of pit road between the leaders. Dylan Mirando noses out. The 7 of Edward Morris and the 55 of Davey Hendricks come out just as they came in, nose to tail, 1st through 3rd.
Now we got some pit times.
And look at Andrew Mraz around the outside. We saw him come in earlier, and those 2 or 3 laps he had on fresh tires gained him a ton of track position. And now as Mirando comes on out of the track, he's got Andrew Mraz right behind him in second in that 21 car. But now the 21 car has got the least fuel in his car, so he's going to have to come in early again. So that, in the long run, could be a bad strategy. But in the short run, if he gets a right-time caution, could be a very good one.
Yes, it is. We get back up here to the leader. Justin Walters ain't come in yet, has he?
Yeah, Justin Walters, also, he's the last one to come into the pits here. Still waiting on him. And the 88 of Donnie Lee, which we saw him involved in some accidents, he just made his way in. Last one to come in the pits, Justin Walters gets himself some bonus points by leading laps. Again, he's in that three-way tie for 4th in points. So 1 point for leading a lap this race could really make a difference.
Oh, yeah.
When it all comes down to the wire, all it takes is 1 point to be a different maker. And Dylan Mirando is about to reclaim the lead as Justin Walters has made his way into the pits.
Yep, he just entered the pit.
So Dylan Mirando in the 27, after passing the 7 of Edward Morris on the long run that we just had, gets a faster pit stop and gets out now to looks like about a half-second lead over second place Andrew Mraz, but more importantly, he has a 1 second lead over third place Edward Morris, who was the guy that he was battling with when he came in the pits. So Dylan Mirando does a great job under the green flag pit stops to put himself back in position where he was when he came in, to a pretty big lead over second place Andrew Mraz. And the scoring pylon makes its final changes here as everybody has made their pit stops, and Dylan Mirando scored as the leader 37 laps into a 142-lap race here at Chicagoland Speedway.
Yeah, he's pulling away from Edward.
Yeah, he's driving away right now. They both came in at the same time. Mirando has the clean air. He's coming up actually to put Michael Thwaites a 5th lap down here in that 12 car. Bad night for Thwaites, a points contender. Already him and Tommy Amacy, who lost the motor. We got a caution is out at the moment, and we got 2 cars. That's the 88 and the 98. Donnie Lee and Cody Fabianic are wrecked on the front straight. Fabianic in the 98 car on his lid. And the 88 car, I saw him. He was running slow. He was a lap car, and he must have got tangled with the 98 car out of turn 4.
Look at that again.
Man, big crash. The 88 car was running his line, and the 98 came down and got into the right rear, and right rear hooked him straight into that outside wall in the tri-oval.
Boy, he was running high there. That's what got him. Look at that.
Look at that. Yeah, I'm sure the 98 car expected the 88 to maybe go down to the apron and came down, and without knowing he didn't go to the apron, he right hooked him straight in the wall and destroyed 2 race cars right there.
Yes, he did. That 88 probably done in.
Yeah, the 98 car, he had to get towed to the pits. He was sitting on his roof there on the front straightaway. He was having a great run up there in the top 10 too, and he's going to be a few laps down here. Good way through this race.
Caution number 2.
Good ways under these tires. I do think we're going to see some green flag pit stops from everybody, maybe. I might be wrong on that. The leader, Dylan Mirando, stays out. And so does the 55 of Davey Hendricks, and the 7 car stays out. But, man, a couple guys do come in, including Andrew Mraz, Nicholas Vroman. A couple other guys behind him, Darren Clement, Jerry Glenn. But also a bunch of guys, including points leader Brandon Ketchum and 42 Eric Driggins. They stay out. We got a good bunch of cars down pit road here, Tim.
I heard that. And Dylan Mirando ain't got but 7 laps on his tires.
Yeah, they have not been on them very long. But the split strategies by some guy. Andrew Mraz was on the oldest tires out of anybody. He was one of the first guys to come in the pits. And he just made his way out in front of everybody else that came in. Nicholas Vroman lost a ton of spots in pit road there. Not sure what happened to him, but he was ahead of most of those guys who are now in front of him.
Yeah, we're looking at Dylan Mirando inside his cockpit here.
He is the current leader right now, and he's going to be leading when they come to the green flag in a couple laps here.
He's saving fuel.
Yeah, I would be too. You never know when it comes down to another long green flag run like we just had. If it goes all the way, even for the rest of this race, you might take a couple laps of fuel, and that's all it takes to win a race.
For real. All you got to do is get that fender in front of him. He's sure saving fuel there, Ryan.
Yeah, he's got it coasting around the corners and stuff down on the bottom, trying to save all the fuel he can.
That's smart moving.
It is. It's thinking ahead is what it is.
It is. Well, everybody, y'all see that. He is saving fuel, and he could win this race on account of that right there, too. If it comes down to fuel.
And we've seen it before. Come down to fuel mileage, that's for sure.
Yeah, we've seen it. We sure have. Seldom like one more lap, didn't he?
Yeah, one lap from winning a race was, I think it was the 7 Edward Morris, and the fuel got him there on the last lap and gave the win to Brandon Ketchum.
We did. He's saving a couple of gallons, probably.
Yes, he did.
Let's see what we can get into here. Yeah, you can hear him.
And we have just taken one lap to green here. Dylan Miranda leads Edward Morris. And these guys seem like the fastest guys out there on the track. It's been between the two of them all night long.
Yes, it has. We're going to have they ain't lined up neither, are they? Oh, he ain't. Hang on a minute. There we go. Well, they're getting ready to go again there, Ryan.
Yeah, we're getting ready to take the green flag here. We have still a good ways to go in this race here. Actually, going to be exactly 100 laps to go when we take the green flag here on the restart.
Sure will. At 41 there, Brandon Ketchum's caught up with him.
Yeah, he's made his way all the way to 5th. He stayed out on that pit sequence there. Top 5 cars stayed out. First car on fresh tires from this caution flag is 6th place Andrew Mraz, but green flag is out for Dylan Miranda in the 27 car.
Oh,
and he leads the field to turn 1.
Edwards didn't get too good a start there, and look at he come up behind him and hit him.
Yeah, he got a bad restart there, and 27 car driving away to a pretty solid gap here at a turn 2. Andrew Mraz is going to clear Ketchum out of turn 2 and working his way down the back straightaway up to 5th already on the freshest tires in the field. And he's going to be working on Hendricks and Driggins here as they come out of 4. Watch this run for Andrew Mraz out of 4. Looking for somewhere to take that run he has. He's going to go to the top. Hendricks got the apron and got sideways through the tri-oval. Wow. Mraz is going to work the outside behind Driggins. He's trying to make it work here on the top. He's going to probably get Hendricks here on the exit of 2, and now he's going to get his way up to 4th position in that number 21 car.
Yeah, that's his buddy right there, ain't it? And
yeah, it is. Man, he was just barely tucked in behind the 42 car, almost turned him around. He had to check up there because I think he thought he was going to turn him around as they make their way through the tri-oval. And, man, good lead right now for Dylan Miranda in the 27 car.
Yeah, Andrew, Edward Morris is coming up on his deck lid, though, buddy.
Morris has got that draft. He's that perfect distance behind that makes it so he can kind of reel in that 27 car coming around this track. You're on the throttle most of the way around this track, and being like that, getting the draft is a huge advantage. And he's reeling 27 car in as they head into turn 1 here with less than 100 to go in this race.
What's clicking them on off, ain't it?
Yes, they are, and with the wrecks that we've seen in this race, we haven't seen a ton of wrecks, but in the few wrecks we've seen, it has really destroyed cars, like it destroyed them out of the race. So because of that, we have only 15 lead lap cars of the 21 cars who started the race. We got Scott Brooks in the pits right now, Tommy Amacy, Cody Fabianic, Donnie Lee, Tommy Amacy, Jason Edmonston, all guys that have gone multiple laps down, really out of contention of this one. Some of them maybe just crawling around on the track just to finish laps, but a lot of guys out of the race already because of heavy damage from accidents. And that has really made it a smaller field of competitive cars, and probably going to see ourselves some more green flag runs here in this race, which is certainly not a bad thing.
Darren Clements just caught up with Davey Hendricks too. He down low, and Davey was on top. I mean,
yeah, he's right there behind Riggins and Hendricks for the 4th and 5th position. He's actually got a good run out here on a turn 2. He had to check up. Hendricks almost came up in front of him there. That was sketchy close right there. And another guy who's working his way from the back of the field, who had a bad pit stop there on a caution, is Nicholas Roman, who just passed 2 cars in turns 1 and 2 to make his way from 10th to 8th in that one corner. Nicholas Roman up to the 8th position already down the front straightaway.
He got a bunch of cars behind him though.
Yeah, he does, and also the battle is raging for 4th. Is Darren Clement looking to make it 3 wide, and then the battle for 2nd is on as Andrew Mraz on those fresh tires driving his way around Edward Morris for 2nd.
There he comes.
Man, Mraz gets 2nd, but he pushed up out of 4, but I think he's still going to hold on to that spot. He's actually going to let Morris down to the bottom on the apron. Morris is going to bail out and take 3rd. But with all this happening, Dylan Mirando to over a full 2nd lead over the 21 Andrew Mraz, who is on the fresher tires and should theoretically be the faster race car on the racetrack right now.
Well, he's out there where he needs to be in that clean air.
Yes, he is. He's pulling away still from the lead pack behind him.
Yeah, he's over a 2nd and ahead of him.
He's got over a 2nd and change here on their way down the back straightaway. Pulled away just a little bit more that last time by over Mraz, but still not a huge lead. You can see Miranda run a fairly high line there through 3 and 4, up in the 3rd groove toward the wall. Not all the way against the wall, the Larson line so-called, and he's pretty close. Mraz actually gained 0.2 of a second that time by, bringing the gap down to less than a 2nd. But it's going to take a few laps if he can do it. That is Mraz catching Miranda, of course, but it's going to be interesting to see if he can reel him in here on these fresher tires, if he's been taking care of them at all. But we know Miranda certainly has had the opportunity to take care of him because he's just been leading all over them with clean air and all, and he certainly should be able to clean tires, to save tires like that.
I noticed Andrew Mraz is he's closing in on him a little bit.
Yeah, that time by, the gap stayed about the same, 0.9 of a second. And also Darren Clement just made his way to 4th, past Davey Hendricks in the top 5 there. And Dylan Mirando, his lead remains about equal. Nicholas Vroman, I just said a second ago, maybe 2 or 3 laps ago, that he passed 2 cars in one corner to take 8th. Well, he just did it again. He's up to 6th. And man, Dylan Mirando almost got the wall out of turn 4. And now Andrew Mraz making his way to the lead here. And caution is out right before Mraz could get to the lead. And it is Josiah Strauss and Michael Thwaites on the front straightaway.
Oh, poor Michael.
Man, a bad run gets worse. Looks like he was an innocent victim in this one.
Yeah, let's do the replay on that.
Looks like out of 4, Josiah Strauss got the wall all on his own. And Michael Thwaites tried checking up and getting out of the way. He had nowhere to go, got in the back of Josiah Strauss and turned him around here on the front straightaway.
Oh man, that was, he didn't have nowhere to go. Wow.
And man, that was a huge break for the 27 of Dylan Mirando, because he had to check up big time out of turn 4, and Andrew Mraz was there and was going to pass him in 1 and 2, and the caution came out as the leaders came into turn 1, and Mirando gets to hold on to the lead, and I'm expecting to see everybody in the pits this time.
I think you will. Let's take a look at them. They coming in the pit. Let's see who comes in there. Here they come towards you.
Yeah, everybody.
Follow the leader. Piper.
And Andrew Mraz, right behind Mirando, actually kissed his bumper as they pulled into their stalls. Mraz had to back up a little bit there. Bad entry for Andrew Mraz. Mirando actually got a tap as they came down in their pit stalls. They were that close to each other.
I wonder why they don't get fully into their pit. Oh, look at this.
Oh, man, Dylan Mirando barely ekes out the 7 of Edward Morris on pit exit. And Vroman is going to make his way to 3rd, Morris all the way up to 2nd, and Darren Clement loses spots. Andrew Mraz loses a bunch of spots. He's already, I think he's way back in 7th position. Davey Hendricks back to 8th position. Brandon Ketchum also getting damage repaired. He's still in the pits right now. He's going to fall to the tail of the field here, still in the pits as we speak. He was in the top 10.
Dylan Mirando is still leading, though. He got a hot 7 on him.
Yeah, Edward Morris, he's got a ton of speed in that car. Nicholas Vroman, though, he's got a ton of speed in that car, too. Got mired to the back of the field there not too long ago in the 3 car. And I think he's back in action here. He has finally found his way back with a chance at the lead in that 3 car.
Yeah,
he's in 3rd.
Yeah, he'll be starting in 3rd. But you got that Darren Clements and Nicholas Foreman in there now.
Yeah, those are 2 fast cars, too, that we haven't seen up at the very front of the field all night, and they might have a chance here now.
Darren Clements right there. See him? And he's in 4th place.
Yeah, he's having a really great run here tonight. Hopefully he can finish this one off strong.
He ain't had no good luck all season, though. About 57 of 142, so we still got a good ways to go.
Yes, we do. Closing in on 80 laps to go here, about 85, 86 to go right now.
See, Dillon is still saving fuel. This is Edward Morris here.
Yeah, they're going to leave the field to green again as the front cars, as we have seen on a few other restarts already. These 2 guys, 1-2.
Tell you what, these guys right here love to duke it out, you know it. They do some good driving out there too, buddy, when they get together, him and that 3 too.
Yeah, the 3 and the 7 especially put on a great show. We've seen a few times already this season. I think Richmond earlier this year, those 2 guys, 1st and 2nd, and they were beating and banging in those last 10 laps, and they were bouncing off each other, bouncing off the walls, and they still brought it together 1-2, and maybe we'll see something else like that happening here tonight between the 7 and the 3 car. They are 2 of the most talented guys out there as we're coming to take the green flag here.
There's Jerry Glenn up there too.
Yeah, Jerry Glenn having a good run also. He's running in the 6th position right now. He is 7th in the point standings, right outside of that 3-way tie for 4th, but pace car is in. and we are green. Top 4 cars break away. Bad jump there for Darren Clement. Dylan Mirando and the top 4 cars are single file as they come down into turn number 1. Nose to tail. The 4 Apocalyptic Motorsports teammates nose to tail, actually. And they're going to come clear out of turn number 2. And the 27 of Dylan Mirando leading the 7 and the 3 of Morris and Vroman and Driggins and Clement first through fifth down into turn, out of turn number 4 and down the front straightaway here through the tri-oval. And to give it to the 27 of Edward Morris, or the 27 of Dylan Mirando as they come down into turn number 1. Eric Driggins on the bottom has got the 21 of Andrew Mraz on his outside here at turn number 2. Mraz working on the top of the 42 of Driggins, while at the same time Morris is trying to work on the 27 of Mirando down into turn 3 for the lead. And Driggins is going to get turned around and make a great save down there through the grass. We're not going to have a caution, but man, that was a heck of a save by the 42 car. Now the top 3 guys are running away, and they are still side by side for the lead as all this is happening. Morris and Mirando getting into it in turn 1.
And Nicholas Borman there, I believe he's just sitting there and see which one's going to make a mistake.
I think you're right, and somehow Mirando comes out of that, holds onto it on top, from the top line of the track, and he's going to hold on to the lead over Morris and Vroman still there in third. But man, Eric Driggins got turned and made a hell of a save. He is still going with minimal damage. Didn't lose much time. He got hit in the back by somebody. Not sure who it was, but no caution, still green, and that really spread out the field. Top 3 cars have run away right now. Andrew Mraz and Jerry Glenn running 4th and 5th have lost touch with those top 3 cars.
Yeah, I seen him when he turned.
Now we got Vroman and Morris here nose to tail. The 3 and the 7 for second.
Yeah, I tell you what, Dylan Mirando is still leading it though. You noticed every week there, Ryan, we have one certain driver that leads the race, and he just about wins it every time.
Yeah, it seems like the dominant driver on the race usually doesn't bring it home. I've seen it happen multiple times, and right now Mirando and Morris are the only 2 cars that have actually led, really, for the most part, all race long, other than during the sequence of green flag pit stops. A couple of guys might have snuck in a lead lap there, but it's really been the 27 and the 7 all race long, and with how the season's been going, I feel like those 2 guys, statistically all year long, the dominant drivers don't get it done, and someone else, like maybe Nicholas Vroman, like last week, only leads 4 laps, yet wins a race, versus other guys that win 60, 70, 80, 90, they lead that many laps and still don't win.
Over 100 laps.
Yeah, that's how many laps we're going to see led combined between the 7 and the 27. They've probably led at least 60 to 65 laps here tonight already combined, just those 2 guys.
But it don't take but just a split second to mess up. We seen that last week.
Yeah, to win the race, all you need to do is lead 1 lap, and that's the last one. And Nicholas Vroman has perfected that almost just last week. Led 4 of the last 4 laps there, and that's all he needs to do to win, and that's all he really needs to do here. He's running third, taking it easy, and he's gonna try to at least sprout here at the end of this race and bring it home the winner.
They don't need to let Dylan Mirando get too far in front of him, though.
Now, Mirando has got a pretty good, almost full second lead over Morris, and he's in clean air, just taking care of his stuff, being smart with the gap he has, and not too long. We're going to have to see pit stops again here. The field's pretty well spread out. I wouldn't be surprised to see ourselves a good green flag run here.
That's right. You know, 1 second on the speedway is 300 foot.
Yeah, it's not very much there. It's about a football field a second is what they say, and it's a pretty big gap between first and second.
I'm looking at that. He's got a what, 1.3?
And he got a 1.1 second lead last time by. I think that's going to get even bigger this time by.
Yeah, it's 1.3 now.
Yeah, that time by 1.423 seconds. And that's another 0.3 of a second gain because Morris has got the pressure of that number 3 car right in his rearview mirror there, getting intimidated by the number 3 of Nicholas Roman.
Oh boy, that could turn into a danger.
Certainly can. Hopefully the 7 of Morris doesn't make a mistake with the 3 of Roman right behind him, because that could lead to disaster.
Got 21 of Andrew Mraz there right behind him too, and then you got Jerry Glenn right there.
Yeah, those 4 guys all under a blanket, 2nd through 5th there. And then you got to go even further back. Another 2 seconds behind Jerry Glenn is Darren Clement, Davey Hendricks, and Chris Gillum. And then also another guy that has kind of lost touch with everybody. Points leader Brandon Ketchum is over 6 seconds behind the leader, almost 7 seconds behind the leader now in 13th position.
Oh, damn. Adam Novak. Look at that. Look at that one.
Adam Novak back in the 44. He's having a good run. We've seen him have some rough runs this season, and he's been keeping it clean this race, up in the top 10, having a good run for himself tonight.
Yes, he is. There's Brandon Ketchum. He ain't doing too hot.
Falling back to 13th. He's got some damage on that car, and maybe he's just trying to make it last until the end of the race to take his fast repair and then make his way to the front of the field. Doesn't take that many laps to work from the back of a field of how many we have left here. We got 15 cars left. He's in 13th. Doesn't take a ton of time to get back to the front here.
Yeah, we don't have no fast fix tonight.
No, we do not.
You got to take care of your car, keep it clean, and stay out of trouble.
So they just put Scott Brooks, the 94 car, just got passed there by the leader, Dylan Mirando, and man, Morris and Roman caught him at a rough time there. Had to check up a little bit out of 4, but Scott Brooks staying out of the way. He is running 17th, 24 laps down, and we have a caution on the speedway.
Yes, we do.
It is the 5 of Jake Clarkson around in 3 and 4. I don't see anyone else involved. Have to look in the replay here.
He just lost it.
I would beg to differ, Tim. Looks like the 41 of Brandon Ketchum turned him around into turn 3.
Let's see it right here.
Coming down into turn 3. Looks like the 5 car checked up really early and then came down the track when the 41 of Ketchum had a full set of steam and got in the left rear, and pit maneuver successful. 5 car goes around in 3 and 4. No damage really dealt to any cars. Minimal contact between the two, but it was just enough to send the 5 car spinning. Caution's out.
Yeah, we're going to have some more pit stops coming up.
The entire field, as a matter of fact, has made their way down to the pit lane. And Dylan Mirando is the first of those guys. He's going to park it in his pit stall.
Ooh, he left. We're looking at the back side here. Here they are coming in, probably. They fixing to come in, ain't they?
Yeah, the whole field just came in, and actually first car out of the pits, new leader. The 7 of Edward Morris reclaims the lead. Dylan Mirando back to second. Nicholas Roman in third. And then we got Jerry Glenn, Andrew Mraz, Davey Hendricks, Chris Gillum, Darren Clement, Justin Walters make out the top 10 positions. A couple guys hanging out in the pits getting damage repaired.
Yep, we got a new leader.
Yes, we do. Edward Morris takes the lead back from the 27. Those two guys have been on top of each other all night long, and lucky dog there goes to the 12 of Michael Thwaites, who we've seen the victim of multiple crashes, has heavy damage, and he's now only 2 laps down. That means 2 more cautions, and as long as he's the lucky dog for both of those, he'll be back on the lead lap and in contention for a much better finish than where he's at right now. So he's hoping for more cautions, that 12th car, Michael Thwaites.
Yeah, Edwards, I'm telling you, Edwards is going to get out there like Dylan did a while ago. When they do, they ain't going to be able to catch him. Not unless caution comes out.
Yeah, Michael Thwaites is hoping for a caution, but really this battle between these top 2 cars, top 3 cars, has been really great tonight. 4th on back has been really a crapshoot all night. It's been flipping between guys. We got Jerry Glenn in fourth right now, Andrew Mraz, Hendricks, Darren Clement. They've all been up there tonight. 41 cars have been up there in the top 5, but first through third has been pretty consistently the 7, the 27, and the 3 all night long.
Yes, it has. And like you said, Jerry Clements is coming up. Jerry Glenn's coming into the picture now.
Yeah, he's there in fourth. He's been a pretty consistent driver this season. Jerry Glenn has. He's 7th in points, not far off of those guys, tied for 4th.
Ryan, I tell you what, we're gonna have a heck of a race there at the end. You watch and see.
Yeah, it's going to get wild for sure here. Pace cars, lights just went off. We're going to go green on lap 76, which is right at the halfway, just past the halfway, actually, of this race. Halfway was a few laps ago. Lap 66, I believe, was or not 66. I think it was 76 maybe was halfway. I don't know, I guess I'm not that great at math, but we are getting there. Just past halfway. Good ways to go on this race.
I want to welcome our sponsors, Sim's Feed Shop, tonight. They do just about anything you want to do, buddy.
Pace car making its way out of turn 4 here.
If we can find out if Edwards has got enough for Dillon.
See ourselves another good battle here. I'm betting on it. Between the 7 and the 27. Green flag back in the air. This one led by the 7 car of Edward Morris. He gets a good jump. Nicholas Broman looking there for second over Mirando. Mirando trying to dive down in the hole for third. He gets it, but it's the 3 and the 7. The Broman and Morris show, as we have seen in the past. They run a 1-2 down the back straightaway with Mirando in tow in third.
Yeah, you got Dylan Mirando there in third now, so he didn't get too good of a shot, did he?
No, he did not get the best of jumps, but he's still there in third, about as good as you can get there from restarting in second. But still a good jump by the 27. But, man, those top 3 aren't as tightly wound as I thought they'd be here through 1 and 2. I thought they'd be really tucked up under each other. They're still really close, but I honestly expected them to be closer bumper to bumper. But Mirando got a good run there out of 2, and he's going for the inside for second on Broman. And Morris has got a good look at these guys in his mirror, battling side by side, just what he wants to see. And Andrew Mraz is working on the top 3 positions. Maybe he's running 4th now.
Jerry Glenn in 5th. He dropped back a little bit. He was up there a while ago.
Yeah, he restarted 4th, and he's about to lose another spot here. Maybe might fall out of the top 5. Davey Hendricks is working on him here down the back straightaway. He's on the outside with help from Chris Gillum in the Subway number 59 car.
Yeah, Davey must have got a little bit of... No, he couldn't. Well, he could sit in the pit and get worked on.
Yeah, he could, but not enough caution so far to get that damage fixed. It's been a pretty low caution flag race so far, and Mirando's still working on Vroman, though, for second. He's there on the bottom, and he's going to have him here at turn number 2. Mirando back up to second, but as all that battling went on, Morris drove away with the lead.
Yeah, you got Andrew Mraz and Nicholas Foreman and Dylan Mirando right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, I mean. Second to 4th.
And Mirando with the draft, he's probably going to reel in Morris in no time here.
Yeah, he got a pretty good draft going. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's reeling them in with those 2 other guys tucked in behind him, too.
Yeah, Edward got too big a lead there to start with, probably.
Yeah, he's a bit of a sitting duck right now. That 27 car's got a big run on him. still we got 62 laps to go at the moment. And Miranda has reeled in the 7 of Morris, and he's got a chance with this run here out of turn 4. I think is where he's going to have a lot of momentum. Let's see if he can make something work with it. See if he can dive to the inside, maybe try the outside. Ooh, they all go down to the apron down the front straightaway. Morris trying to block Miranda from going to the bottom. Miranda looking on the top, now back to the bottom. He's searching all over, trying to stick his nose in somewhere. Top or bottom, either way it'll work with the momentum he's got carrying out of the corners with the draft. He is tucked in right behind the 7, Edward Morris, down into turn number 3. And now he's got his nose on the inside with Vroman and Mraz tucked in. Man, they were both sticking their noses under each other's cars there on the exit of turn 4.
That was tight.
Yeah, about as tight as you can get there. They were inches from each other, all 4 of them. They're trying to get everything they can, trying not to have to lift and lose the momentum they're getting with the draft. And as these 4 run nose to tail in a snake, it's Jerry Glenn leading the snake line of cars, 5th on back, trying to see if they can catch up to those top 4. He's got a big run coming on the top 4 cars if he can get into their draft. But, man, these guys are starting to battle back here, so I don't know if they're going to really have a good shot at it. They're running 3 wide right now for 6th.
Well, they need to get in line if they're going to catch them front runners.
Chris Gillum, Davey Hendricks, and Eric Driggins are running 3 wide right now out of turn number 2 in a battle for what is 6th, 7th, 8th, and now Darren Clements jumping into that battle. Man, I would not want to be a part of that mess, and they're really losing a lot of time to those leaders as they are doing this. But here comes Dylan Miranda for the lead on the outside of Edward Morris. And at the start-finish line, Edward Morris had the lead by 3/1000ths of a second. And Morris trying to work the bottom. Miranda gets a huge run on the top because Morris had to check up there in the middle of 1 and 2. He washed up a little bit. And now the 3-car, Nicholas Roman, trying to work on the outside of Morris down into turn number 3. Give the lead to Dylan Miranda out of turn number 4. Another lead change between the 7 and the 27. And, the 7 car trying to stick his nose back in there actually in the exit of turn 4. Man, Miranda led that time by about 8/1000ths of a second, dead even again. But, man, Miranda had to check up on the exit of 4, and he lost everything he gained through 1 and 2, and now he's trying to do it again through 1 and 2. And as they're doing this, here comes Jerry Glenn and Andrew Mraz there from the back of the field, back into the top 5, trying to work their way back to the front. Miranda has now cleared Morris, and he's blocking him down on the bottom. Vroman and Mraz side by side for 3rd. Vroman's going to clear him from the outside and hold on to 3rd. But it's Dylan Miranda leading down into turn number 1.
Boy, they dicey, ain't they?
They got awfully close there a few times in that battle for the lead. Guys pushing up. These tires starting to get old and tight. And these guys are trying to get everything they can out of them in crucial moments like that, and they're trying to save them when they have the opportunity. As they are coming up actually to lap the 05 of Tommy Macy's back on the track after losing the motor with the damage that he has. He's running in the 18th position, or whopping 45 laps down. And a lot of guys are many laps down in this race. Only 15 lead lap cars. I think we have 17 cars on the racetrack in total.
Jerry Glenn is catching them again, too.
Yeah, that's because Andrew Mraz is still trying to pass the 3 of Roman for 3rd, and while he's doing that and struggling to do so, it's costing them both a lot of time, lap time-wise, and Jerry Glenn's reeling them in.
That's all he wanted to see was them up there racing together.
They are still side by side, the 21 and the 3, and the 97 gets a huge run out of turn 2 on 21 Mraz. He's just staying calm, not trying to get too aggressive with these 2 guys. He's just waiting in the wings for a real big opportunity. And the 3-car run in the top line, the 21 run in the bottom, they're getting side by side quite a bit.
It's the lap down car there they just got by.
Yeah, Tommy Amacy in the 05. Now 46 laps down. He is just a couple laps actually from gaining a position on the 94 of Scott Brooks, who's out of the race. 40 laps down. Once he completes 6 more laps, he gains a position. So that's the reason he's out there, is just to gain positions on the guys that have also crashed out of this race.
Yeah, you stay out there long enough, you get 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, he needs the points. He's in the points battle right now. He's right now 3rd in the point standings, and he wants everything he can so he doesn't lose as many points to Morris and Ketchum in the standings. But the way they run now, Ketchum is back in 12th, and Morris is running 2nd, and Morris has also led a bunch of laps. But Morris right now obviously looking like, as long as all goes well, he's going to score more points than Brandon Ketchum, and maybe even take the points lead, which Brandon Ketchum has had for almost every race this season. He's been the points leader.
Yes, but he's had some bad luck.
Yeah, recently he's been falling apart as the 7 and the 3 and the 27, and a couple other guys have been taking the trophy in the last few races.
They scattered out pretty good right now. Nicholas Foreman, he's coming up real close in 3rd there, but they done scattered out pretty good now.
Yeah, I think there's a battle going on back there for 4th position is the 97 of Jerry Glenn. That's actually for 5th Jerry Glenn almost got to the side of Hendricks as Hendricks is trying to pass him on the outside. Davey Hendricks to 5th on the top around the outside of Glenn. Man, they got real close to each other there. But still, top 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cars, single files, pretty spread out here as this run continues on. Pretty long, old tires getting old. Dylan Miranda leading.
Yeah, he's up. Jerry Glenn is right there with Davey. He ain't passed him, though.
Yeah, Miranda still pulling away here. Good ways into this race.
Yep. He's doing a good job.
Miranda increasing that lead now upwards of 0.7 of a second.
Eight lead changes in this one. 4 cautions.
It's not a bad record.
No, 15 laps ain't bad.
Not at all. We are actually closing in on 20 laps on this green flag run, so I'd say probably about 10 laps or so from green flag pit stops, and these guys are very spread out, and at this rate maybe we will get to see a little bit more green flag pit stop action like we saw toward the beginning of this race.
Yeah, about 31 laps is all they're going to get on tank.
Yeah, that's probably most you're going to get out of a tank of gas, in the low 30s.
No matter where you at, you got to come in then.
Yeah, that is correct. And if you do the math, this race goes green the rest of the way. I'm thinking we might have a fuel mileage race, because if these guys say come in about 10 laps, that gives them 35 laps to the finish of the race. So that's in my books 35 laps. If you save fuel, maybe that's doable. So some guys might want to stretch it on gas if they can.
That right there, he's been stretching it, but when he was under caution.
Yeah, he's been trying to stretch with what he's had.
About to get race time here, buddy.
Yes, sir. We're about to see some strategy getting put into this race here. Andrew Mraz in the 21 car is actually in pit lane at the moment.
Andrew come in.
He did in that 21 car.
Yeah, there's 26 of them. $42 laps to go when they cross the finish line.
I think these guys are trying to get everything they can out of the tank of gas that they have in the car right now, because they know that it's going to be close on fuel if they go green the rest of the way, because they're trying to stretch as much as they can on this tank, so they have to do not so many laps on the next one.
That's right.
But it's still Dylan Mirando leading. That lead has gone down a little bit recently. Now it's at about half a second. It was at about 7/10, but Mirando at half a second over Morris, and then Morris has about half a second over Vroman. So a second between first and third, and half a second between first and second, and then the leader has 3.2 seconds on Jerry Glenn in fourth, and 3.5 seconds on Davey Hendricks in fifth. 14 lead lap cars. Chris Gillum actually just made his way onto the pit lane here, along with Andrew Mraz, who made a pit stop not long ago. He is in 15th. Michael Thwaites is 16th, 2 laps down, and Tommy Amacy is 17th position right now, 46 laps down, and that is all the cars that we have left on the racetrack. Everyone else has DNF'd from this race. We had 21 cars start, and only 14 on the lead lap right now.
We got 17 altogether.
Yeah, 17 left on the racetrack. Dylan Miranda, though, his lead was half a second. He just increased it to 0.8 of a second, and we got some front runners down the pit lane now. Actually, Nicholas Vroman has made his way in, along with Jerry Glenn, Eric Riggins, Darren Clement, Steve Seegers, and Jake Clarkson, Josiah Strauss. A lot of guys making their way down pit road all of a sudden, as I think it's that fuel window. It's time for them to come in. We've been out under green for 30 laps. Here comes leaders. Edward Morris and Dylan Mirando, nose to tail down in the pits. Davey Hendricks is going to stay out for one more lap. He's going to lead this time by. But the rest of the field coming on down. I'm watching closely on the 27 and the 7. Mirando and Morris, they are the 2 fastest cars on the racetrack. And they're running first and second as they come down pit road. Looks like both of them getting their boxes really well. It'll be interesting to see which one comes out on top.
I don't reckon Davey and Adams come in yet, and Justin.
Yeah, a couple guys still staying out, but on the race out of pit road, the 7 of Edward Morris has the lead as Dylan Mirando's right on his tail as they come through turns 1 and 2 down on the apron. They are about to start racing side by side here on the apron of the track. They are within touching distance here down the back straightaway. Morris has the slower speed here as they come into turn 3. Mirando had the run on the exit of the pits on the apron. They're side by side into turn 3, coming back up to speed, coming out of the pits. And even though Morris beat Mirando out of the pits, Mirando's still right there on the outside. This is the battle for what will turn into the lead once we file through all these pit stops. Side by side right now, Morris on the bottom, Mirando on the top. Morris holds on to it for now, coming out of turn number 2. Good battle there between those guys.
Michael Thwaites is right there in front of him.
Yeah, Michael Thwaites 3 laps down right now. He's going to get out of their way as they battle for what is theoretically the lead after everything files through. But remember, we got 38 laps to go, and I don't really think if we go green the rest of the way, there's any way these guys can do 38 laps on a tank of gas. That's just too many. I think it's basically a must second pit stop here. If we go green the rest of the way, these guys are going to need to pit at least one more time.
No doubt.
There's no cautions.
Yeah, no doubt. They're going to have to pit one more time. Just for a splash of fuel there.
Yeah, they aren't going to need much. Actually, current leader is Andrew Mraz, because we saw him come in the pits way before these guys did, so he had really fresh tires for a while. So he's got a 2.5 second lead, even though he has already come in the pits. So technically he's the leader, but he's running much slower lap times than these guys. behind him in the 7 and the 27, so it won't be more than a couple laps till those guys catch and probably easily pass that 21 car Andrew Mraz, who's been off sequence all night long here in the pits.
He's 2.3 seconds ahead of him.
Yeah, it looks like they gained about 2/10 that last time by. Morris and Mirando nose to tail.
Well, they knocking them down. I'm watching them fall.
This time by, lead goes from 2.3 seconds for Andrew Mraz all the way down to 1.8, so over half a second lost just that time by. It won't be but 4 or 5 laps when Andrew Mraz finds himself trying to hold on to the car as these guys come by, but it's going to be close here. If we go green the rest of the way, it might be close here between these guys. If it goes green the rest of the way, Marias might be in the right spot at the end of this race to maybe be the leader on the early stop strategy.
I don't know. They're catching him, though.
Yeah, they're catching him fast. What Mraz wants is either a caution at the right time, or he just wants to be out front at the end of this race when he's on the older tires. So curious to see how that early stop strategy works. He's the only one that's off sequence with the rest of the field as the battle for fourth is on. Nicholas Vroman is working on trying to pass Jerry Glenn for fourth position. And the battle for second in what is about to become the lead is also on. Mirando trying to get by Morris.
He didn't make it. I tell you, Andrew Mraz he got a good pit strategy, I believe.
Yeah, I think there's a chance that pit strategy might just come out on top. If we go caution free the rest of the way, he might be in the lead at the right time here. I'm curious to see how it works out, but he's got these two guys about to blow him out of the water here as they come down into 1 and 2. Morris and Mraz side by side, but Mraz is going to hold the lead for now, but Morris and Mirando giving each other room as they come up to the 21 car to pass him. They're going to play nice as they get around him, and then they might start fighting with each other.
Boy, it didn't take them long to get there, did it?
It did not, and it's not going to take them long to pass him either. Morris to the lead, another lead change here. Edward Morris back to the top of the board. Dylan Mirando. Now he's going to get around the 21 of Mraz in turn 1. And Nicholas Vroman has made his way into fourth, past Jerry Glenn. And that will soon become third when they catch Andrew Mraz.
Yeah, Andrew, his tire, he got 15 laps on his tires.
Yeah, he can only do at most another 15 laps till he has to come into the pits again here.
Edward and Dylan I believe that's the ones you're going to have to watch.
Yeah, I don't see how anyone's going to be able to stop these two guys that have dominated this race, and they have been on top of each other all race long. And Morris blocking Mirando all the way down to the middle of the back straightaway as they come barreling down the front into turn 3, coming out of 4 to the front straightaway. Mirando going to see if he can do something this time by the 7 of Morris. Sticking right behind him through the tri-oval down on the apron.
Yeah, it's still too early to block.
It is, and Mirando, I think he's got a chance. He's got his nose under Morris here on the inside. Morris had the run on the exit at 2, and he's going to hold on to the lead for now. But through 3 and 4, Mirando going to try again. This time he's going to have the advantage of the apron coming through the tri-oval, and he's going to use that advantage. Morris leads at the line, but Mirando's going to have the bottom through 1 and 2 here, and he's going to have a chance at the lead over Edward Morris, and he might get him here at a 2. Morris is going to have the run on top. Got to say, though, if I had to pick one of these two, I really do think Dylan Mirando has the speed, but I really think it's going to come down to the last pit stop that they're going to have to make here under green. And Mirando's going to take the lead away from Edward Morris. And let's see if he can run with it.
Maybe he can, but I tell you what, that last pit stop though, I'll tell you who's gonna win just about it.
And battle for third, I don't know if you want to call it a battle, but it's going to be a pass for third. Nicholas Broman's going to walk right around Andrew Mraz for third as he catches up to the 21 car on the old tires there. And he's going to make the pass easily. But, man, Dylan Mirando didn't just pass Edward Morris. He is taken off. He just pulled out to a lead of 0.4 of a second, just like that. And he's trying to build up as big of a gap as he can before he comes down into pit road here to make his final pit stop of the night.
That'll make a difference.
It will. One of the guys that came down early, Tommy Macy, he's in the pits right now. And actually, Eric Driggins, I'm sorry. Eric Driggins and Brandon Ketchum are in the pits. They're the guys that came down earlier in the race. They're trying to make that early stop strategy work, just like Andrew Mraz is, who I'm expecting to see him in the pits in not too long. See if that short pit strategy pays off as he's getting passed by Jerry Glenn and Davey Hendricks right now.
22 to go when they cross the line.
And man, Dylan Mirando, 0.8 of a second is his lead.
Boy, he found a rocket, didn't he?
I think you can say that. He is driving away from Morris. And his lead from that time by goes from 0.8 to 1.1 seconds. Another 0.3 gained by Mirando that time by.
I heard that.
Dylan Mirando looking for his second win of the season. It's been weeks since his last win, and he hasn't really shown any strong results since then, and he's looking for one right now. And in the pits is Andrew Mraz from about 5th position on the short pit strategy, taking 4 tires and fuel right now to get him to the end of the race. Curious to see if that strategy works out. He's going to be the fastest car on track here for a little while, and maybe that'll make the difference.
I tell you what, Ryan, he got them 4 tires and fuel, and they got to stop. Mirando and them got to stop.
Yeah, and while Mirando and Morris and Vroman are out on track on older tires, they're going to be losing time to the 21 Andrew Mraz, who's out on track on fresh tires, because he's going to be flying right now. And by the time they come in and out, Mraz is going to have a pretty good lead. And if he's able to hold on to that lead just to make it the last few laps to the end of the race, he could be golden.
Sure could.
But Dylan Mirando has flatlined his lead to about 1 second between him and Edward Morris. Not sure if they're saving fuel or not. I personally do not think they would be, because they're that far from it, from the goal of making the end of the race. I just don't think there's a chance that they can make it under green that far.
Well, they're at 19 now, so they got 10 more laps.
Yeah, Mirando came in on lap 104. They have been almost 20 laps out on track. Whoa, Mirando got the apron there in 3 and 4. He's really wearing out the tires, drifting around turn 4 like that. But it's been since lap 105 is when they came in. So they're almost 20 laps on this run. They could make it probably to a lap 136 or 7 at most, which is about 7 laps to go. But it's going to be interesting to see if Mraz can pull off the right strategy game here, because he is putting out some really fast lap times, blowing by a lot of cars right now, even though he is scored in the 11th position, the first car 1 lap down.
I tell you what, Dylan Mirando, he got squirrely there just a few minutes ago, and when he did, that 7 was catching him.
Yeah, he was. He got that apron down in turn 4, and that really didn't just hurt him in that moment of being sideways, but it probably hurt those tires. He was sliding on that right rear tire, and hopefully he can hang on to it. He's still got a pretty good lead here, a very comfortable lead that he can take it easy and be confident on his pit stop here coming up.
That's one thing he's going to have to do is focus on that pit stop and don't speed on pit road.
And speaking of pit stops, the 3 of Nicholas Vroman comes in a little earlier than expected in the 3 car. Nicholas Vroman, running third, is in a lot earlier than I thought he would. Maybe he's caught on to the strategy of the 21, trying to offset his strategy, and he's trying to put himself in position to have a chance at the end of this one, pitting a little earlier than he could be. Darren Clement also came in along with the 5 car, Jake Clarkson. And here comes the 7. Edward Morris is in pit road from second position. He might be trying to offset the strategy of the 21 of Andrew Mraz, but the 27 of Dylan Miranda is still on track out front.
He got close to that wall just then, too.
Yes, he did. And I do think Dylan Miranda needs to come in this time. He cannot be out there on those old tires any longer. He's got to come in now. And here he comes through 3 and 4, and he's going to stay out on the racetrack. This is a really risky call here by the 27 of Miranda.
You reckon he got enough fuel?
I mean, I guess there's a chance that he could be saving, but I think that's a little risky on the 27's part to try to save that much. Andrew Mraz has got a big lead on the 3 of Nicholas Vroman right now, although he is on the older tires. But the thing is, Edward Morris, he just came out of the pits in front of the 21 of Mraz, so I don't think Mraz is going to win this race. He's on older tires, and he's still behind Edward Morris. So it looks like the 21 car strategy is a failed one because the 7 and the 27 caught on and came in. Well, at least the 7 caught on and came in because the 27's still out there on the racetrack in the lead right now.
Well, let's see. He got 130 this time around. Got 10, 12 more laps.
Yeah, he's been on track for 25 laps on these tires and fuel. He and it looks like 3 other cars have not come in yet. Davey Hendricks, Adam Novak, and Jerry Glenn. Actually, Davey Hendricks just came out of the pits. So just Adam Novak and Jerry Glenn and Dylan Miranda. Now Jerry Glenn from second makes his way into the pits. So now that leaves just Adam Novak and Dylan Miranda. And Dylan Miranda has 20 seconds on Adam Novak, and he's got a full lap lead on the third place car, Edward Morris. So Miranda has the gap so he can save a ton of fuel. He can be pushed in the clutch if he really thinks he can make it, because at this point, if he comes in, he's not going to win this race. Because Edward Morris on those fresh tires making those lap times is really killing him.
Dylan knows that, too. He knows what's going on there.
Yeah, he is in communications with the 7 Edward Morris. And because they're on the same team, they are talking to each other right now, and they decided one guy to go to one strategy and one guy to go to the other. Miranda's trying to save, and Morris is not, which I think Morris, if I had to choose, is making the right call here. But I'm curious to see if this 27 car can make it the last 11 laps now. 11 laps to go here for Dylan Miranda.
I don't see how, because he got 28 laps on that car.
Yeah, I don't think he... Another 11 laps. It's already been a ton of laps, and he is saving, pushing in the clutch, going through the corners, doing everything he can, just crawling. Has such a big gap on second place, and never mind second place Adam Novak, but third place Edward Morris is over a lap behind. I just really don't know about this call, but he can save so much fuel because he's got no pressure from behind. But honestly, even if he saved that much fuel, he still, I don't think, is going to make it. And he just hit the wall coming out of turn 2. He's riding the wall down the back straightaway.
Yes, he did. I've seen that.
The right side of that car all torn up for Dylan Miranda. And look who watched that whole thing happen is Edward Morris, who's trying to unlap himself here through 3 and 4. And now Miranda's coming down pit lane.
Well, that was a bad call, I believe.
Yeah, I think Miranda might have just blew it right there, and that's going to put a lot of guys back on lead lap. Now give the lead to, I guess, the underdog of all underdogs, 44, Adam Novak leading right now, but the battle for second is on. Guess who it's coming down to, like it does every week? The 7 of Edward Morris and the 3 of Nicholas Vroman battling for what's going to be second, and as long as the 44 car also doesn't make it on fuel, it's going to be for the win. This is a big battle going on right here, Tim, between the 7 and the 3.
Yes, it is. Nicholas Foreman and Edward Ray's been on it every week in, week out.
Yeah, they are side by side right there. And look at Dylan Mirando sideways coming out of pit road right there. He came in for a splash of gas, and there they go, passing Dylan Mirando. But side by side for second, and what might end up being the win of the race, it's the 3 in the 7. Nicholas Vroman hasn't led a lap all race long, just like last week, and he's going to come out on top late in this race. Give it to the 3 of Nicholas Vroman here. Just under 10 laps to go. 7 laps to go this time. Adam Novak, though, he is still leading on the field in the 44 car.
Ooh, that'd be something, wouldn't it?
I think this is the last guy I would have thought would have a chance at winning a race. He has a lead of 15 seconds, and he is going slow right now, saving as much gas as he can, as Nicholas Vroman has taken second and is driving away with it. And Davey Hendricks just drove by Mirando for 5th position. And Andrew Mraz is running in 4th. But right now, Nicholas Vroman is in the catbird seat if the 44 and Novak can't make it, which that 44 and Novak is diving onto the apron here in 3 and 4. I think he's out of gas into the pits.
Oh, boy.
Adam Novak getting some laps led under his belt late in this race, but give the lead to the 3 car of Nicholas Vroman, and he is going to come around this time. And I don't think he led that lap. That lap got led by Adam Novak just by a skosh. But Nicholas Vroman's going to come around next time with 5 laps to go as the leader. Just like last week, Nicholas Vroman's going to lead less than 5 laps and win the race, I think.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming out and being with us tonight in the chat. And, hey, we love it when y'all come in there. It makes our night go easier. And our sponsor, Sim Speed Shop, we want to thank everybody that's come in here and made it possible for us.
Yeah, we just took 5 laps to go here in this race, and Nicholas Vroman just led his first lap of the race, and it looks like he might come out on top here again. He's got a 1.5 lead over Edward Morris. And Andrew Mraz running in 3rd. Actually, he just got passed by Davey Hendricks for 3rd. Put Davey Hendricks into the 3rd spot in the podium after starting 2nd and falling back. He's made himself a great comeback. Looks like he might come home with a good finish here tonight after all.
Yes, it does look like that. Everybody subscribe if you hadn't. And hit that like button if you like what you've seen tonight, and there's a dislike button if you want to hit it too. But we appreciate you coming in here, and we fixing to end this one up, Ryan.
Yes, sir. Coming down to the wire. 3 laps to go for Nicholas Vroman. He's won 2 races already this season. He's currently tied for 4th in the points, and he's going to lead less laps than almost everybody in this race, and he might come out on top as Davey Hendricks is making a late race charge right now. He's looking on taking 2nd position away from Edward Morris here, coming to 2 to go this time. It's Davey Hendricks almost getting into the back of Edward Morris through 3 and 4. He's got a much faster car, much fresher tires. He's just got to take it easy, take his time. He's got still quite a bit of time with how fast his car is to make the move here on Edward Morris here for 2nd. He's working on the top, working on getting a run here out of 2. Davey Hendricks trying to split up a 1-2 finish for Apocalyptic Motorsports as they come into the white flag this time.
He done caught that lap down car again.
Yeah, Nicholas Vroman got to get around a lap car here. Justin Walters. Battle is on for 2nd spot, but right now it's all Nicholas Vroman looking for 2 wins in a row here. Iowa, then Chicago, as Vroman on the outside of Walters puts him a lap down. And then Hendricks is working on the 7 Carl Morris down the back straightaway one last time.
We're keeping our eyes on this 3 car, Nicholas Vroman.
Nicholas Vroman out of turn number 4 for the final time tonight. They're going to drag race for 2nd, but more importantly, your winner tonight, 2 weeks in a row, Nicholas Vroman gets it done. Drag race to the line for 2nd. Morris holds on to 2nd over Davey Hendricks. who is going to finish in third place. But Nicholas Vroman gets it done here tonight on OSRN, and it's Nicholas Vroman winning 2 in a row. Edward Morris holds on for second, and Davey Hendricks takes home the third position here.
You bring them up, you talk to the second and third.
Yeah, we'll bring them on up. Davey Hendricks and Edward Morris finished third and second, and your winner, second week in a row here, Nicholas Vroman, gets it done.
There's your logs right there. Top 10.
And then Dylan Mirando ended up having to come down the pit lane again. I don't think he actually filled that car up enough. He ran out of gas with 2 laps to go. He ended up finishing way back in 14th after being the leader with just a couple laps to go and being the favorite to win as Nicholas Vroman's burning it down on the front straightaway.
Yes, he is. Well, there you go. We just seen a good race there tonight, everybody. Get ready to talk to them there, Ryan, and I'll take the first one.
Yeah, I'm going to bring Davey Hendricks up here in one moment. Hey, Davey Hendricks, Ryan Gable up here in the OSR Network booth. You got a copy?
Yep, gotcha.
All right, Mr. Hendricks, you had a great run here tonight. You started up front on the front row tonight, fell back pretty quick, but made your way back to the front there at the end. What fuel strategy do you think was the winner there at the end, fuel and tire strategy there? Was it the short pitting or the waiting a little bit and just stretching out the run there at the end?
I'm going to go with the short pitting. Brando had a really good car and, pitted later than all of us, but I don't think that our tires were worn out enough for him to have a significant advantage.
And, you go ahead?
Yeah, because me, Ed, and Nick and I think Mraz too, all pitted around the same time. It worked out all right.
Yeah, you guys did great here tonight. Any shout-outs you want to make? Anyone you want to thank here before I send you back down?
No, you guys in the booth, Rick and all the admins for putting it on. My wife for letting me stay on here for hours and do this. About it.
All right, thank you.
Thank y'all.
That was third place finisher Davey Hendricks. We're going to bring up Edward Morris here, finishing second here tonight. Also, points leader Brandon Ketchum finished back in 10th. I don't know if that's enough for him to lose the points lead to Morris. We'll have to see here once the point standings refresh a little later tonight. But you can look at that on ExtremeMotorsports99.com's K&N Series website if you would like to see the point standings. If not, we'll update them for next week's race. But let's bring up second place finisher Edward Morris here. Hey, Edward Morris, Ryan Gable up here in the OSR Network booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
All right, Ed, you had a really great run here tonight between you and Dylan Mirando, who didn't get to top it off with a good finish after all. But I do believe you, Nicholas, and Dylan are 3 of multiple drivers on Apocalyptic Motorsports. How'd you guys work together tonight with pit strategy?
Well, for majority of the race, we were all working together as far as communicating and telling each other what was going on and what we needed to do. And getting on pit road, we did an excellent job tonight. I want to give, big shout out to the team on that. We did excellent work tonight on that. Had some comm issues for me, at least, at the end of the race, so I wasn't sure on that last pit stop what was going on. So I tried something, and it still paid off. He got us up here in second, but, Nick, he got the win on it. Congratulations, Nick.
Any other points of the race you want to talk about?
Man, I got to say that was a great race. I love the green flag runs, love the green flag pit stops. I don't have any complaints other than the car being real tight, pushing real bad. Other than that, it was a good race.
And what do you think about the upcoming schedule here? Very unique tracks. This was the last of the cookie cutter mile-and-a-half racetracks. Very unique schedule coming up. What do you think about your chances coming up here these next few weeks?
I'm pretty comfortable, Ryan. Get a lot of good practice in, especially for Watkins Glen. That's coming up here in a couple weeks. Feel pretty good for Bristol.
All right, any shout outs? Anyone you want to thank here tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to you guys at the booth. You guys do an excellent job every week. Shout out to the admins and Rick for the league, and to the family, Eric Durrigan's, the team, Nick, Mike, Jerry, Dylan. We all worked real hard tonight, and it paid off.
All right, thank you.
All right, Ryan, bring up Mr. Dylan Mirando.
I'm bringing up Nicholas Bowman, the winner of the race here.
Oh, that's right, yeah, Nicholas Borman. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one there.
It's all right, I'll get him up here 1 second.
Nicholas Borman, this is Tim McBride, OSRN booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
You got it 2 in a row, buddy. You got it.
Yes, sir. That does make it 2.
Oh man, it makes it tough on them other ones there, buddy. We was watching you all night long there, Bubba. You had a strategy that worked real good.
Yeah, I definitely didn't have the strongest car out there at all, but I ended up taking 4 tires on that last stop, and everybody else took 2, and that definitely paid off.
Oh, it did. How did that car handle there the last few laps?
Tight, man. It's tight all around. Tight through the whole run.
It was tied all the way through?
Oh, yeah, from start to finish. It only got worse towards the end.
It got loose about after, what, 10, 15 laps?
Yes, sir.
All right, Nicholas, you got anybody you want to thank here, Bubba?
Yes, I want to thank Team Apocalyptic. Again, man, practicing every week for these races. I also want to give a shout out to my mom, who sadly passed away to cancer. Today's her 55th birthday. I love you, Mom. Happy birthday.
Oh, that's good, buddy. All right, buddy. Maybe we'll see you next week here, buddy.
Yes, sir. Plan on it.
All right, everybody. It's Tim McBride in the booth with Ryan Galvin. We are signing off from the race tonight, and we hope everybody enjoyed it. And we fixing to get off of here and talk a little bit, maybe. We catch y'all next week. Good night, everybody.